Hello everyone, I'm Wendell Jones and welcome to this special edition of our program today as we talk about health in the Bahamas on this, our special edition of the platform. And all year we have been celebrating the 50th anniversary of Nygard International, and he has been focusing over the last many years on healthy lifestyles and getting people around the world to eat well and to have a healthy lifestyle. And so today on our program, Bianca Nygard has brought some very important people here to talk about how we can improve our health here in the Bahamas. Bianca, it's good to see you as usual.
It's wonderful to see you. Thank you.
You look healthy today as well.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yes, and today our guests in this segment of the program, Dr. Tony Frankson, who is a lecturer of bioethics and biostatistics in the University of the West Indies, the campus here in the Bahamas. We have been graduating a whole lot of medical doctors here in the Bahamas, and Dr. Frankson is one of those lecturers responsible for the high number of Bahamians who are going through that program. Not only Bahamians, but others from the region. And we also have with us here today Dr. Catherine Conliffe, who is a family medicine specialist, and she is also an associate professor or lecturer at the University of the West Indies. Good to have you both here today.
My pleasure.
And I believe some years ago I spoke with Dr. Conliffe. I can't remember when, but we've had so many medical doctors on our program.
That's true.
It's good to have you both here today. But tell us, are we unhealthy people in the Bahamas, as people say?
I think God has blessed us with good basic health.
Yes.
And those of us who make the right choices have been seeing the results of positive health. You see them out there running and swimming and doing proud Bahamas proud on the track and so on. And it's catching on.
Yes.
But there are those who are stubbornly caught up with choices that they have made to eat unhealthily, to be too sedentary. Sometimes too, it's a struggle of life. You have to work really hard because you're in that situation in life and you work maybe too much on a sedentary job. And our workplaces are not savvy enough to incentivize people to move and do other healthy things. Some are, but you know, in general, we need to see that. So it's a mixed picture. And we are a people who are moving from, we can pretty much be saying now that we have the infectious diseases under control, most of them.
Okay.
And we still in some cases are struggling with tuberculosis in certain subgroups of people. But that's a much smaller problem than it was in the history of the country and in the history of the region, the Caribbean region. And the chronic diseases now are the ones that we are living long enough to get because of some of the other decisions that we have made to enjoy too much of the things with oils and fats in them and too much sugar, and to go to the beach and look at the water instead of going there and working out in the water, and all those other mixtures of things. But I have, ending on a positive note at this point, there are those who are setting the example, and we want that to be an ever-growing group rather than the other way around.
Yes, but Dr. Conliffe, we are told that the incidence of non-communicable diseases are extremely high in the Bahamas. A whole lot of people are putting on a whole lot of weight, and as a result, they have these non-communicable diseases.
Yes, it's on the rise. And so not just here in the Bahamas, but also in the region. And so that is why a group of civil society organization was formed called the Healthy Caribbean Coalition to help combat the rise in non-communicable diseases such as your hypertension, diabetes, obesity as well, and also certain forms of cancer as a result of our lifestyle choices.
Bianca, you brought some good guests today.
Yes, it's such an honor to have them here. And my father's been on a mission, a healthy lifestyle mission for himself, as well as for everybody around him. So he always says that the Bahamas has the best gene pools, one of the best gene pools in the world. And he's always talks about how it's amazing how many Olympic athletes come from the Bahamas, you know, and then he had noticed that we have these strong children, and then somewhere in their mid, like 50s, 60s and stuff, then there's like a decline in people's health. So it's just a lifestyle, just a choice in what you eat or how active you are? Is that what it is?
Well, when it comes to especially the chronic diseases, the platform on which it rests is the genes that you have been born with. There are those of us who will really eat badly, etc., and take a long time and hardly put on any weight. We hate those people, don't we? But there are those of us who, after one pregnancy, you used to look so good, and after one pregnancy, you're investing so much in that child, etc., you forget to do certain things, and you find yourself putting on too much weight. Or you are a man who is having trouble sometimes with finding a job, and you make some decisions to handle the stress that are not good. You might eat too much when you can find the food, or you might not get enough food to eat, so you're on the other side of underweight. But you might just be, the choices that we make play in with the genetics. And then now, some of us are more prone genetically to put on weight fast. Those kinds of people really would have been excellent bodybuilders. They respond quickly. But instead of that, you see them sometimes not only the chest getting big, but the waistline getting big. And sometimes I have to point the fingers to myself too, you know, because I am one of those who work hard, but I really need to move more. And the job is very demanding, and you have to make decisions to really integrate a healthy lifestyle. I have a confession to make. I used to be the high jump champion for my university. And one of the long jump champions, myself and Timmy Barrett, were in Irvine Hall at the University of the West Indies. And we brought home the medals. He would beat me in the long jump, and I would beat him in the high jump. And I have to say, I like how he still keeps himself. And it's a goal for me to shoot to make sure I remind everybody I used to be an athlete just like him too.
Just like Dr. Barrett. We remember those days back in the 60s and 70s. Yes. That's a long time ago. But obesity is a disease, we are told. Yes?
It can be considered as a disease.
It's moved from being a condition to now being a disease.
Now a disease of
yes,
that.
because people really need, even those who classify things, really need people to understand
the seriousness.
It does everything that a disease does. And it leads to complications as well. It invites cancer. People don't think of that. It invites clogging up of the vessels to the heart, and a sudden heart attack just when you're ready to enjoy life. You put on too much weight and you're not moving, your heart vessels get clogged up, or they get ruptured. You suddenly get a rapid blood clotting of one of the blood vessels to the heart, and you knock off a vital piece of your heart, and there it is. In your 40s, your 50s or so, just when you're ready to enjoy the grandkids, there's a funeral for you. That is not right. And diabetes, I can't go without mentioning diabetes. It really invites diabetes, and we're seeing it invite diabetes and hypertension in our high school kids. We did a study recently, well, a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Conliffe did the arm on hypertension, and Dr. Rivers did the arm on diabetes and pre-diabetes and pre-hypertension in our high schools. A well-done sample, large sample, study with blood tests to match the questionnaires and so on. The data came through that we need not fool ourselves. There is a group of us, our kids, who are on their way to diabetes or on their way to hypertension, or both. And even one or two in the high schools already have hypertension or diabetes. And this is not the diabetes that is type 1 diabetes that is from a genetic problem, or you get an autoimmune response that damages your pancreas from some other exposure early in life. This is the type 2 diabetes that actually we would think of as preventable, especially for young people, and something that if you're going to get it, you should be seeing it in your 30s, 40s, 50s preferably, and of course never is even better.
Yes, I know a lot of people that say that eating healthy is expensive. So I would notice that the adults would say, I'll treat myself to a nice salad and salmon or something like that, but I'll just give the children some burgers and fries or something, but that's not really a great idea then, right?
No, you would want to give your children the best and put them in the best position to move forward in life. And so that, of course, would be giving them the best choice when it comes to their diet. Nutrition is very important in the developing stage as well.
I'd like to counter the argument that eating healthy is expensive, because I have been trying to do it for a long time, and I don't find it really more expensive. Eating unhealthy or healthy, to me, what is the biggest problem is the portion sizes. And if something is a little expensive, but not that expensive, but the portion size is too big, it suddenly became too expensive.
Right.
I could have been served, or I could manage the amount I'm given, and I could actually eat some of that food for lunch, and 5 hours later I have some of that food later on, and then I'm going to do some good exercising later if I'm a later in the day kind of exercise person, which is actually a good idea, because then your body is warm, you're less prone to get injuries if you exercise later on in the day. But a lot of people believe in exercising in the morning, and it sometimes works out better for them there, but the body is not awake as much yet, so you have to warm up much better. But you work it out, and it's calories in, so you manage the calories in. And if you stretch out, if a meal costs $15 and you divided it in two, suddenly the meal is now $7.50.
Right.
And the next meal is now $7.50. So for the whole day, you have only spent $15 rather than $15 here and then $10 here is $25. So you have to be smart. One of the little tricks we do at work is we seem to be not able to stop these folks who serve us food, especially the rice. So when we go back to the office, we say, anybody need lunch? And we split the lunch and we share the lunch in the office. That's another way to outsmart the cost.
So sometimes you eat, the portions are too
heavy servings sometimes.
Yes.
Very generous
So
people in the Caribbean.
You have to cut down your
You have
portions.
to watch it.
Yeah.
So it is not what you eat, but how much you eat.
Exactly. And it's a bit of what you eat too, because if you eat foods that are too high in oils and so forth, your body can handle only a little oil. And your body holds on to that oil very, very parsimoniously or stingily. And your body will keep that and store it if it needs to until you need to burn it off. And oil is very efficient at giving energy. If you get a pound of oil and a pound of starch like rice, that rice will only give you half as much energy as the pound of oil will. Oil has twice as many calories in it, pound for pound, or tablespoon for tablespoon, or whatever it is. But we love oil, and that's another problem.
When you say oil, let's be clear with our listeners and viewers.
Any oil, fats, even the good oils, olive oil. People take too much of it because they hear it's good. But of course, those margarines and so on, those fats from animals that they take to make stuff, that is even more concentrated with what we call saturated carbon and hydrogen molecules. The body really has a hard time breaking that down compared to the other kinds. And those are the kinds that actually sleep and raise your cholesterol as well, and get into the blood vessels, under the wall of the blood vessels, form little hills in the blood vessels that gradually occlude the channel of the blood vessel. And on top of that, if the blood vessel lining is suddenly burst, out comes this little toothpaste, contextured stuff that the blood just reacts to and quickly forms a clot and can give you like a heart attack, or you get it in your heart and it travels up and gives you a stroke, or I call a stroke a brain attack, and things like that, you know. But yes, oils, you know, we really only need a tiny amount of them.
Okay, let's take a break here. We are on the platform, this special edition of our program. We are dealing with healthy lifestyles for the next several programs. And we are so pleased to have Dr. Frankson and Dr. Conliffe in this segment. We'll come right back.